Hi, I'm Natalie, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why mother polar bears adopt or foster young. Now, I know this might come as a surprise to you because most of the time when we think of adopting or fostering, we only think that the human species do this. However, it's quite common to happen in the animal kingdom as well. The difference is that scientists aren't really sure why female polar bears adopt or foster babies. Now, before we get started with the whole discussion, let's get the definition of adoption out of the way. When I say adoption or fostering, I mean that the female or mother polar bear takes in the babies and treats them exactly as if they were her own. She nurses them and provides for them until they're old enough to go out and fend for themselves. So, for the scientists' three theories. The first one is a kinship theory. This means that mother polar bears adopt young from their close female relatives in order to keep their bloodline going. They do this because they wouldn't want the baby to die off and thus the genes to die off from a close female relative of theirs and decrease their fitness as a whole. However, scientists have done several studies on this and they find it to be the least likely option at this point just because when they have captured a mother polar bear and her adopted young, they don't seem to have any ties in their DNA. So, their second hypothesis is that female polar bears do this in order to increase their ability to provide for young. So basically, younger mother bears would adopt babies that are not their own, and they, in a sense, practice on them for future young that they're going to have of their own. In this way, anything they do that's detrimental to the young is not detrimental to their own fitness because the babies weren't theirs to begin with. Now, the last idea that they have, and it seems to be the most likely at this point, is that female polar bears do not have a strong mother-offspring recognition with their babies. This is because they live in single family groups with just their babies, and they just don't need to have that recognition that most animals that live in big groups need to have. Therefore, when they come together over something, say a large kill or another resource, they get confused and the babies end up going off with different mothers. Now, the siblings usually end up staying together, as has been seen in any of the research, but the babies just go with different moms, and the moms continue to care for them as if they were their own. But don't get your hopes up, or down, really, because there is a way in which mother polar bears will just adopt some babies that they find out in the Arctic, and they'll take them in and treat them as if they were their own. The only issue with this is babies can generally not survive in the Arctic for very long because it's so cold, and male polar bears prey on them or will eat them if they're by themselves. To conclude, not a whole lot is known about female polar bears and adoption and young, but more research is being done and more answers are soon to come.